Another completely crazy episode of Rick and Morty that caught my attention. Let's talk about it, and how it can connect with the Rick and Morty anime.
You didn't have to cut me off. Like that we were nothing. I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger, and I feel so loved.
So guys, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm the Monio, the interdimensional demon, who talks the most about Rick and Morty on YouTube, and you're on my channel. One thing I mentioned in another Rick and Morty video, about the episode where Rick Prime is defeated, is that the creators of the series don't really like the way the toxic side of the fanbase deals with some things, and especially with how people value the canonical episodes of the series, and we could see this very well in the episode where Rick Prime is defeated, which is a total subversion of the importance of the canonical things that receive the most hype in the series, which is Rick Prime and Evil Morty. The episode about letters and numbers was already quite different, as Rick doesn't even appear, and this is completely different from what many people who are more nostalgic considered it to be a classic episode of Rick and Morty, and now we have another episode that follows the line of more random stories, which shows that the creators are more concerned with creating episodes that are more uncommitted to a main narrative, rather than creating sagas with epic characters in which fans create theories, like Rick Prime. If you want to know more about my opinion, about how part of the Rick and Morty fanbase is toxic, and the way they see the series, watch my video about the final fight episode of Rick vs. Rick Prime, link in the cards. Now let's talk a little about the episode itself, which is the 9th episode of the 7th season, and it goes along the lines of these more random episodes without chronological weight, in which it begins with a question about whether there is an afterlife or not, and Rick discovering that it actually exists, in a scientifically explainable way, and the episode will be about that. And there's also Bigfoot, Vikings, the Pope being the big villain, and references to Pokemon, and this would probably be in my top 10 of more unpredictable episodes, in which completely random things happen, and the story takes completely crazy turns. And it's these more unpretentious episodes that irritate some fans, who like to make theories, but I believe that this was always the idea of Rick and Morty, to make a fun series without many pretensions, but the idea of doing something more canonical, and leads to something that few people talk about these days, which is the Rick and Morty anime. As you may know, Rick and Morty has already had an anime announced for some time, and there is even an official image of the look of this new series. But have you ever wondered why make a Rick and Morty anime if the main series is already animated? Well, I have a theory. To make it interesting to make a new series, which is also an animation, I believe that just changing the style is not enough, as the main series itself could make an episode with a different animation style, as happens in Family Guy for example, but another animation will be made, or a Japanese studio, which for me, indicates that we will have a significant difference in the tone of humor, and the way the episodes work. If many people think a narrative that connects the episodes into a large arc is cooler, you can make another animation that focuses on this type of audience, and this makes total sense if you think that the episode where Rick Prime was defeated was a subversion of expectations, and the creators of the main series are no longer interested in having this type of commitment to a canonical story, as happened in the Evil Morty or Rick Prime arcs. And if you think from the point of view of the series writers, to create the episodes, perhaps this type of narrative would even compromise creativity, since these last episodes, I believe, must have demanded absurd creativity. So I believe that this demand from fans for episodes that they consider to be classics can be met by the anime, as this would be the most assertive path for the series, something that would be equal enough to still be Rick and Morty, but at the same time, different enough for both series to have their own identity. But what about you? What do you think the Rick and Morty anime will be like? Leave it in the comments, and if you liked the video, subscribe to follow the next content. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.